I was born in 68 in a farm, a little log, and a huge log cabin with an added bedroom. I don't know if it was made of boards or logs, but anyway, we had 3 or 4 rooms, and then upstairs of the house. It was an old, huge log house. And my first recollection was reading the newspapers, learning to spell and read off of the newspapers that were posted up on the walls behind the stove. I remember that. And after I was 10 years old, I went up to, I had an auntie in Marion, Indiana, who had no children, and I had been named for her, and she wanted me to go and stay with them. My uncle was a doctor, and I went there and lived until the time I was married. And that is most of the time. I went back home, of course, too, but then I lived with them most of the time and had most of my schooling in Marion from the time I was 10 years old. And my uncle was Dr. William Lennox in Marion, Indiana. And then we were married in 1890. But I went out to my father's home. My mother insisted that all of you girls be married at home. So we were married out there. And the day before was a very cold day. And the next morning, on New Year's Day, we got up to a rain. A big rain, and it rained all day long. Wedding day. I don't remember just how many were there, but there were several. Drove out from town, my brother and his family, and my auntie and uncle, and drove out for the wedding. We had a wonderful time. Although my husband says he doesn't remember what we had to eat, but we had duck. I remember that. But he doesn't remember anything about it. But let him tell you now. What else? What do you remember?
My father was born in Jay County, Indiana, and so was my mother. They lived about 4 miles apart, and I remember having him tell me how he used to run through the woods in the snow and jump over the logs to get to see her to court her. I was born in Jay County, Indiana, at a little town called Westchester. It's still there. I remember the house where I was born. The little window where the sun came peeping in at morning. We moved from there to Wells County, Indiana, where I started into school. After I finished the grade, I went to Bluffton, the county seat, to high school. We lived on a little farm there. My mother's name was Amanda Andles. My father's name was Jacob Washington Bartmess. We moved, as I said, from to Rockford in Wells County, Indiana, and after I graduated from the grade school there, I went to Bluffton to the high school. We sold a little farm and moved to Marion, Indiana during the gas boom. After we moved to Marion, I went from the gas factory a while and happened to find this girl around town that I fell in love with after a while and married her. Her name was May Watson. She sang in the choir, yes, I sang in the choir. And after we were married, my father sold the property that he had in Marion, Indiana, and went to Camden, Indiana, in the general merchandise business. We lived there for 2 or 3 years. She went with me, of course. I had to take her along. And then we moved to Westfield, Indiana, where we were still in that same business. But my wife and I didn't like it in Westfield, so we went back to our old stopping ground, Camden, where we had our friends. I taught school there for 3 years. And then we went back to Marion, and where her good aunt had given us a little house and lot to live in. We stayed there for about 2 years, and then we moved to Gas City, Indiana, and I went to work for Thompson Butter Company and worked for them for about 5 or 6 years. I got tired of that place, so I went to Pennsylvania, in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, hired a Jew to run his factory for him. I was quite a boss. And stayed there with him for 2 years. Didn't like it very well, so an old Cunningham company in Pittsburgh, an old glass factory, took me on as manager there. I stayed there 2 years, and they liquidated. They didn't break up, they just liquidated. I went to manage in West Virginia, stayed there a little over a year, moved to Massachusetts, and by that time we had 7 kids to take home. And we stayed there for about a year and a half, and got a chance to go to Manitoba, a little place called Beausejour. And then in making these inquiries, my adaptability, capability rather, asked me what church I belonged to. And I suspicion he thought I was a Catholic. I wrote back and told him that I was a Methodist and private. We stayed in Beausejour 2 years. It was too cold up there. Went back to Indiana, and I got a little bottle factory there and ran it for 2 or 3 years. Man had a plant in Freeport, Louisiana. Having trouble to get somebody with me out of run it. He come after me, and I came to Louisiana, Shreveport, in 1913. And I've been here in about ever since. I'm glad of it. Our first child was a boy named Hugh. He only lived about 24 hours. Born the 29th of December, after we were married on the first day of January the 4th. The second was a little boy named J.W. Lived about a month, but fell asleep and died. The third little boy, Paul Arden, was born on our wedding day, January 1st, 1893. I can't do it. The next one was a daughter born in Marion, Indiana. The next one was a daughter born in Gas City, Indiana. And the next one was a daughter born in Gas City, Indiana. And the next one was born in Gas City, Indiana was a daughter. And basically is not nearly enough to justify the blessings we have received. Bless these folks here. Take care of all, and save us at last for Jesus' sake. Amen.
Gathered here together this afternoon to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the marriage of Mr. and Mrs. U.S. Bartmess. Mr. Bartmess, how long have you been married now, you and Miss Bartmess?
60 years ago today.
60 years ago today. That was a good way to start the new year, wasn't it?
It was fine.
Miss Bartmess, when were you married? I mean, where? Where you
At
married?
my father's farm
At your
in
father?
Wabash County, Indiana.
That's a long way from here, isn't it?
Quite a way.
Wonder how y'all ever got way down here. How many children do you have, Mr.
We have 9 living.
9 living.
We had 12.
Had 12.
Lost 3.
And you have 9 living.
Right.
Well, that's good. How many of them are here this afternoon, do you know?
8.
8 here. Well, that's good. It sure is. Miss Bartmess, if you had it to go over again, would you do the same thing?
I think I would. I'd like to live my whole life over.
Well, that's good. We're sure you both lived a full, rounded-out life, and I know all of your children and grandchildren, and I'm sure you have quite a few great-grandchildren, too, don't you?
14.
14 great-grandchildren. Goodness, do you know how many grandchildren you have? Are they hard to keep up with?
29.
29. Goodness, that's a bunch of them.
49.
What? 29?
Just 29 real ones. The others are married on.
Well, I think we'll all give it a big-hearted congratulations, everybody. Congratulations! We hope you'll be married many more years, and we're looking forward to celebrating your 75th anniversary.